All right, 8th grade. So this lesson should be quite a bit of review because we've already done Pythagorean theorem. But just to make sure we all understand what a perfect square is, square roots, and equations, we're going to keep moving on. That just means this should be an easy lesson. All right, so a refresher. Perfect square is the answer to a squared problem. Or number, however you want to think about it. So, for instance, 2 squared is 4. So, that's a perfect square. If we were to list our squares, that would be 1, 4, 9, 20. Oh, I skipped 4 squared and went to 5 squared. 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, 225, 16 squared is, I think it's 256. But I definitely know 1 through 15 off the top of my head. Those are perfect squares. It'll help you if you start to also know these. That just is one of those math facts that helps make things go faster. The square root is the inverse of squaring a number. So we have the symbol. Symbol of square rooting is the long division, but it has the check in front. So I kind of just think of it as creating a big check mark. All right, so that's the symbol. We call this a radical. It's radical, dude. It's okay, you can laugh at me. So if we see something like the square root of 9, the square root of 10, the square root of 4, right? Square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of 10 we learned to approximate. We know it's really close to that 9, so we know it's going to be 3.1. All right, you can also type it into a calculator and we would get that approximation. All right, so moving on. Solving an equation of the form x squared equals p. All right, so when I'm solving this, I need to do the inverse, right? When we were solving an equation like 2x equals 10, I had to do the inverse operation and divide by 2, right? Inverse. So in this case, I'm going to do the inverse operation to squaring, which is to square root. So I'm going to square root, and what I do to one side, I have to do the other side. So now I'm going to get x equals now. Here's the kicker. I know we want to say that x just equals 2, right? Because we know that 2 times 2 equals 4. But that is not the only answer. There's actually 2 answers. Because it is also true that negative 2 times negative 2 equals 4. And so it is both 2 and negative 2. Or negative 2 and 2, whichever order you want to put them in. Separate them with a comma. That's my list of answers. The other way we could write it is that it is the positive and negative 2. That tells me there's a positive version and a negative version of this number. Now, again, why? Because both 2 times 2 and negative 2 times 2 give us that 4. So we need to list both answers. Why in the community, up until now, have we always just said square root of 4 is 2? Because we're trying not to confuse you and we're trying to give you the basics. And for most things that we're working with, whether that's like side lengths of a triangle, right? You can't have a negative side length of the triangle. So taking c squared and giving both a positive and a negative answer didn't make sense because only the positive made sense in that situation. So those are things to just keep in mind. So outside of real world, though, you should have 2 answers. Okay? Don't forget that. 2 answers. All right, so let's go through some quick solving. I square root the left, I square root the right. X will equal 9 and negative 9. If you're like, how do you do that so fast, Mrs. Cartwright? Make sure you have this list right here, or the list we made in chapter 1 of perfect squares where I had 1 squared equals 2 squared equals. That's this list. It can help you while you're still memorizing, but you'll get to a point where they do just click. So I could write it 9 or negative 9, or 9 comma negative 9, or we can write it plus or minus 9. So here, square root, x is going to equal 7 or negative 7, or plus or minus 7, however you would like to write it. Square root, because what I do to the one side, I have to do to the other side. So x will equal plus or minus 4. If you want to put the 4 comma negative 4, you are welcome to. The whole reason they put this plus minus, made that symbol, is, like I've said multiple times, mathematicians were doing lots of writing, and we use symbols so that we don't have to write as much. Just like multiplication and, exponents, those all came because, well, I don't want to keep writing the repeated version. All right, so now when we look at these examples, you may notice that I have fractions. The dreaded fractions, oh no. All right, don't fret. I'm still going to square root to undo the square, right? And then I square root the fraction. Now the thing about fractions is that when you square root a fraction, it's the same as square rooting the numerator and square rooting the denominator. Make sure you square root both, but that means that a is equal to plus or minus. The square root of 64 is 8. Go away. 8, and the square root of 81 is 9. And so in this case, a is plus or minus 8/9, or 8/9 comma negative 8/9. Your choice. All right, now over here, before I can square root, because I can't square root 10, square root 6, square root 25. No! But I can make it into an improper fraction. So I'm going to multiply and then add. So that tells me that w squared is equal to 256 over 25. From there, now I'm going to square root top, square root bottom. So w will equal square root of 256. Don't forget your plus or minus. Square root of 256 is 16. Square root of 25 is 5. The other option would be, I don't want a comma because I don't have both the answers. They're correct, but not both are necessary. So plus or minus 16/5, or 5 goes into 16 3 times with 1 remaining, and we put the plus or minus in front of it. And it is that simple, I promise you. All right, so what about a word problem? Mrs. Cartwright, there's words, and they make me get all anxious. Don't look for those keywords, right? A company makes small custom design stamps that have a square. That's important, right? So that tells us that we're working with the shape of a square, which means that sides are all the same. We already talked about have a square image area, right? So area equals side length squared. The image area has an area of 1,200 millimeters squared. So it asks, what is the exact length of one side of the image? Now, exact, when we talk about the exact, that means not decimal. So what is the exact length? 1,200 equals s squared, and then we're going to square root to get s by itself. And so now 1,200 is not a perfect square. So guess what? S equals, now this one we're not going to put plus or minus. Why? You can't have a negative side length. So it is just going to be the positive version of the square root of 1,200 millimeters. Why? because this is exact, right? If you remember, we talked about irrational and rational numbers, and the square root of anything that is not perfect is irrational, which means the decimal goes on forever. Now it wants us to approximate to the nearest tenth. So when I type that into the calculator, I get 34.641016, and then it keeps going. So when we round that to the nearest tenth, we're going to get S equals 34.6 millimeters. And that's how we do it. That's it. Inverse operations. Always solving equations, we're going to do the inverse, which means the opposite. Opposite of squaring is to do the square root, and then we just solve. If it's a word problem and we have constraints, negative numbers doesn't make sense for an area or for a side length. Negative answers won't be a part of the equation or the problem or the answer, or however you want to think about it. Anything else, though, when I take the square root of just a number and it has no context, then we've got to assume that there's two answers, the positive version and the negative version. And if you have questions over any of it or how to type a square root into the calculator, please, please, please come see me. Until then, 8th graders, stay classy.